We've got some big news from Little River. Find out what it's all about. Coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at Seacoast Medical Center on Highway 9 in Little River. We're focused on the Laura Seacoast Healthcare Foundation, and we're visiting with one of its founding board members, Mary Martin. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning. How are you?
Thank you so much for coming in this morning.
Thank you for inviting me.
Aside from being one of the founding board members, you're also the executive director of the Little River Chamber of Commerce.
That's
and particularly exciting, Mary, as I think back to the couple of times we've been together. Once at the studio there at the Herald on the former Air Force Base talking about the Little River Chamber of Commerce and about Rotary.
Right.
And then not long thereafter, at actually a couple years later, there at Puckett Sheets and Hogan talking about Rotary. And to think now we're actually in Little River.
I know.
And to be able to highlight the Little River Chamber of Commerce and the tremendous kickoff of the foundation, I guess in late 2006 into last year, and some of y'all's board meetings recently. A lot going on up here.
Oh, a lot. Yes. It's exciting.
Little River is hopping. You know this area pretty well, Mary.
Yes, I do. I was born in Horry County, right here, so.
I saw on reading a little bit about you that you actually know about cropping tobacco and obviously picking cotton, and I think it had corn in there as well.
Oh,
Is
yes,
that right?
it does.
Those are the three big crops that you and your family had any involvement in?
Yes.
What was that like? I don't want to ask you the years there, Mary, but were you actually out on the farm?
Sure.
Really?
We had to get up early in the morning.
I mean, look at you with your red hair and your great-looking outfit. I can't quite picture you there.
It's kind of like growing up on the farm. You have to get up with we used to say with the chickens, and you had to go to bed with them because you had to work all day.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't have a choice. But it was a good life. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Mm-hmm. Are you an only child, Mary?
Oh, no. There's 7 children in my family,
and
I'm the middle.
Is that right? If there's anything such as a middle child syndrome, you would have
I've
had
got
it
yes.
as the middle of 7. I'm the middle of 3, so I know what it's like being a middle child, but not of 7.
Yes.
Wow. Are your brothers and sisters here in Horry? Or are they around the country?
No, I've got one sister in Horry County, and the others are in Marion County. One's in Florence and one in Charleston.
Is that right? So all in the Palmetto State?
Yes.
Wow, that's a big deal.
We love South Carolina.
What is it about the state that really made that so important to y'all to stick around?
I guess just living here, and of course I was married to a guy in the military for years, so I was gone. And in '82 I moved back to Florence, and from Florence I came here. But I think once you are born in an area, it's always home, and it's the people here are home people, and that's what makes it special.
Well, if folks missed the interview with you when we were focusing on District 7770 and your district governorship and a tremendous district there, they can go online to carolinapeople.com and watch that. And of course, part of the excitement there is when you joined. This year is the 20th anniversary of your actually joining Rotary there in Florence in 1988.
That's right.
So a big celebration this year and climbing the ranks. I think you shared with us, though, am I correct that women at that time were not allowed or were just become...
They had just been accepted into Rotary when I was invited to join. So it's been 20 years. So can you imagine just 20 years ago women were
I really can't
allowed in
that.
Rotary?
To think about 1920, 68 years before that, when women were actually recognized as full citizens.
Right.
To think that 68 years would have to pass before they could become members of one of the most important international groups really in the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very important. Little River is a lot bigger than folks think, isn't it, Mary?
Oh, yes. When I first started to work at the Chamber, looking at the census that was done in 2000, at that time they said we had 7,049 people living in Little River. I'd venture to say we probably have in excess of 20,000 in Little River now.
Is that right? In just that short amount of time? Wow.
And then North Myrtle Beach is about the same. You know, they're growing.
Oh, yeah.
And people that used to come here to vacation are living here year-round now. So it's not a little tourist town anymore.
Not to put you on the spot, Mary, but to try to imagine, for viewers, of course, we know here we're at Seacoast Medical Center, which we said is here in Little River. to give just a sense of where Little River begins, is there a beginning point? And I know it's obviously unincorporated area, but is there a beginning point and kind of
as you come across the line on Highway 17 into Little River, that's the beginning point.
That is right
point.
there,
Yes.
right at the state line, is the beginning of Little River. And this is, as you're going up Highway 9, for instance, Bell and Bell, is that in Little River?
Yes.
That is also. Wow.
Right.
So it is a big
big.
geographical area as well. That's tremendous. That requires the Chamber of Commerce to be pretty dang active.
Yes, and it's really funny because I was looking at papers yesterday, and we have members from Charlotte, Little River, North Myrtle Beach, Tabor City,
right.
Myrtle Beach,
Yeah.
North Myrtle Beach, Longs, and they're just joining our chamber from all over, and it's good. We're promoting the area, and that's good.
Yeah. Well, of course, our real focus is the Loris Seacoast Healthcare Foundation, and much of what you all are doing up here, and those needs, the apparent needs. But there's so much happening in Little River, and the excitement for folks to think just of Seacoast Medical Center and its expansion,
right?
And to recognize that a lot of that was prompted because of the importance of Little River and North Myrtle Beach to this area.
Yes, and this hospital, when they started talking about adding beds, a lot of people had some adversity to it.
Ooh, wow!
And
a lot of people.
and I really think that they just weren't thinking exactly right, because the way this area is growing, we really need the beds in this hospital.
Oh yeah.
And we need them for people that are older, that are driving.
Right.
Like husbands or wives that have to go to the hospital. It's so much more convenient for them to come here and be seen here.
Right.
It's just, it makes sense to have the hospital here.
Oh yeah, Marion. Well, Frank Bolino will be with us tomorrow, I know, to talk and to highlight much of what, as the founding chairman of the board, much of what the board's doing. Of course, Tim Brown kicked off the week, which was very exciting, the president and CEO of the Loris Healthcare System. And, of course, it's a pretty it's very large. I'm using the word dang a lot. I'm just thinking there's so much going on, but it's a big organization.
It is, very big.
I had no idea. I think I saw $185 million in annual revenue, which is markedly larger when you think of Loris. And just with that name on it, of course, this is Loris and Seacoast, and it goes on and on and on, the number of facilities and opportunities you all provide. And
in fact, I think probably Loris is probably one of the largest employers, the hospital over there.
Oh yeah.
In the county.
In the county, yeah.
Which makes that really unique.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that when we get the beds in here, just imagine the other number of employees that'll be here.
Oh yeah, very good point. Absolutely. Philip Clayton was with us. Phil Clayton was with us on Friday, the CEO of Conway Medical Center, and it's and they've expanded out, as you know, quite a bit. It and Seacoast, it and the Loris Healthcare System is getting those approvals almost simultaneously. And I believe Grand Strand also expanding a little bit. And the county, of course, is growing and continues to grow. But let's talk a little bit about, for viewers who may have missed some of the other guests earlier in the week, what prompted the founding of the Loris Seacoast Healthcare Foundation?
When they decided to add the beds, you have to have funding from someplace.
Right.
And so they decided to start the foundation and give people an opportunity to give money to help this hospital to grow and or to be built. And so with that, we started looking at different ways that we could get people to maybe make donations to the hospital. And out of that, the foundation was born. And of all the money that's given to the hospital here, to that foundation, every penny of that will go into the expansion. Not any of that money will be used for administrative costs. Is
that right? Tremendous. Yes. A lot of folks sit back and wonder, why do hospitals need money? Don't they just print money, or don't they just grow money on trees?
Well, they don't.
They do not. Mary Martin is here to say hospitals do not print money. Okay, good.
It's interesting to look at trying to raise money for a hospital. And all the ways that you're going to use the money, but right now, we've established some naming opportunities for people who make large contributions. They can actually have a room named after them.
Really?
And
here in Seacoast Medical Center,
right,
or in the
in the hospital. And then there's going to be other opportunities for money as well. But we just hope that the people in this area, North Myrtle Beach and Little River, will look at this and be happy enough that we're going to have a facility such as this to donate the money to help this building be built.
Oh yeah, you know, as we think about, obviously, when earlier in the week, and Tammy was with us on Tuesday, as we heard about, it looked like $30 million to be raised, or planned to be raised, and I think $3 million for each of the facilities here, for Loris Community Hospital, and obviously for Seacoast. But a lot of dollars that have to be expended to really do it right, to make sure all the rooms, and whether they're intensive care units, I think I saw 8 beds being added there, and maybe 12 other in one area, and then 30 just general hospital needs, but tip-top shape when you're under an expansion mode.
Yeah, and you can't go in there and halfway do it. It has to be done totally right. And so, and I think that it will be done right, and I think that the people in this community will have a big celebration when it's completed. Oh yeah. And we get to come to the real opening of the hospital.
Absolutely, Mary. I printed out some of these fancy flyers that Tammy or that the Healthcare Foundation had sent out, which highlight, of course, some of the tax benefits of making donations to the foundation. Of course, why it's making a difference supporting Loris Community Hospital, as well as, of course, Seacoast and the entire healthcare system. But it lays out some of the ways you can show your support. And you talked about the naming opportunities. There's lots of other ways as well. But that big component of 100% of your gift will go straight back in, as opposed to a lot of the administrative costs. Much like other, what is the difference? Share with viewers a little bit of the difference between, or are there big differences between community hospitals and other hospitals? Do you know some of those differences, or
I
they're not?
really don't.
Yeah, sure. Sorry to put you on the spot. Yeah, we'll. You know, as we think about...
I think that this is a non-profit hospital. And I lived in Florence for about 18 years. And McLeod was also a non-profit. And so I think that people can be treated in this hospital whether or not they have money, where in the private hospitals they can't.
They really have to monitor, they have to, and of course, unfortunately, if that happens, obviously, for emergency service, and I guess for emergencies it's different, but for normal service, they'd have to come to community hospitals. And in this county, much like in the PD, we're blessed with 3 that overlap. Obviously, Waccamaw and Georgetown Hospital Systems on the south end. They're in much of Horry County down there, and surely... or overlap into Loris Healthcare System and Conway Medical Center. So a lot having to happen here. Not to take anything away from HCA's tremendous facility, Grants Regional Medical, which does a lot. You know, this great quote by Winston Churchill, which was included, I'm sure you probably had something to do with this, Mary. We make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give. What a tremendous thought as you think about different ways. If someone wanted to get in touch with if someone needs to get off to work now or get family off to school, is the number that Tammy gave earlier, the 843-390-8215 number, the best number to call?
Yes.
Okay, and just picking up the phone I know is real important. Let's talk a little bit about, let's focus a little more on Little River, just thinking about some of the areas of focus here. When you had actually been executive director of the Little River Chamber of Commerce for a while, and then, am I correct that you retired and then came back, or you?
I had worked there as a membership chair.
Oh, okay, great, good, yeah.
And then they hired me as the director, so.
That's a big deal, Mary.
It was a big jump.
What was the membership when you first started there at the Chamber of Commerce?
52.
Is that right, 52?